Inner Circle Project and is a committed life coach whose work centers on elevating others. So let's give a warm RCK welcome to the one, the only, Matteo!
What is it? It's special. We got 1,200 schools across the nation committed to a day without hate, and now Ketcham is another one on that list. You're starting something powerful here because today is about being the change. What does that mean? Be the change. Gandhi said it, be the change you want to see in the world. To choose kindness and connection, to remind each other that you actually matter. If you don't matter, how do you show up? You don't show up. How do you show up on a team if you don't matter? You don't go to practice. You don't show up. But today, I'm honored to be here. What is the most asked question of all high school students? Adults are obsessed with this question. You're asked it pretty much every single day. What do you want to do when you graduate? What do you want to do when you grow up? What kind of job do you want? I was asked that question by my relatives, by teachers, school counselors. I was asked that question by the neighbor walking the dog down the street. Matteo, what are you going to do when you graduate? I'd have stock answers for those people. I had stock answers. I'm going to be a radio DJ. I'm going to be a news anchor. I know what I'll be a teacher. I came up with an answer. That's what school trains you for, to come up with an answer. Even if you make it up. But life isn't about answers, and that's the myth here. Right? You all believe it's about an answer. Come up with the answer. But life is about choices. What do you choose? What do you choose right now? What do you choose today? What do you choose when you're at practice? How do you choose to show up? It's your life. How do you show up to this game? What are you paying attention to? Because the more you practice, the more it becomes who you are. And if you practice making fun of people, what do you get good at? If you practice being kind, what do you get good at? If you practice your left-handed layup, jumping off your left foot, what do you get? You get blocked. And why don't you practice jumping off your right foot? Because you look like a fool, and it takes work. So you just don't do it. And do you get good at basketball? No, you just fake it. So you always just do the reverse layup, if you know anything about basketball. But you gotta jump off the right foot. So today is about that. Today's about choices. Because every action you take is the vote for the person you want to become. Every action. So who you vote for? What kind of person are you voting for? Because you're becoming it every day. Every day. So I want to ask you a question. When is this asked in everybody's life the most? When are you asked to tell someone about who you are? Job interview. Where else? College essay. For sure. If you can't tell your story in a college essay, do you get into that school? Yes. Your first day of school. Do you know where else you have to tell your story? On your first date. A lot of people look at profile pictures, then you want to date, and you ask someone a question, and then what happens? With no story, you get no second date. With no story, you get no second date. It's all about your story, so let me tell you a little bit about me. My name is Matteo. My first job was at Dairy Queen. I ran a successful DJ company called Platinum Plus DJs for 7 years before I sold it in 2007. I played in 2 collegiate golf national championships. I have a master's degree in counseling psychology. I was a psychology professor in Denver, Colorado. I worked as a chef in Boulder, Colorado. That was cool. I lived in LA and worked as a business manager in the visionary art world. What the heck's the visionary art world? I worked as a mental health therapist for 2 years only in New York. I worked as a summer camp director in Seattle, Washington. I run and operate a natural building company for the past 12 years, specializing in cob building. What the heck is cob building? Do you know me? No. You know something about me, but do you know me? How do you get to know people? You gotta ask questions. If we're not asking questions, then we can't care. If I don't ask you questions, you don't care. Is there a teacher that you have in your high school experience that actually asks you questions? What does that feel like when someone asks you a question? What do you feel? Like they're interested. And when if someone is interested, then they care. And then how do you show up? How do you show up for the coach that doesn't care about you? You don't. How do you show up for the friend that actually isn't there for you? They're only there for them. Don't show up. Not when they need you. So what's your story? How are you going to write it? Because today is about writing that story. Every day is about writing your story because you've got a story to tell and it matters. And if you tell it right, opportunities happen. And that's what I'm hoping for all of you on this day, that you actually think about what you're doing and what kind of story you're telling. So if we look at stories, sometimes a picture tells a story. So I want to ask you guys, what do you notice in this picture? What do you see? A gnome? Yeah, this wizard man. I see a wizard man. What else do you see?
I think that picture was from Shrek.
Yep, and we see cameras. We see a camera crew. They must be filming something. You don't know what they're filming, but they're in the forest. You see a living roof. Does anybody know that I built this house? I built this house with this wizard man for a TV show that I hosted on the DIY network called Building Off the Grid. This is a house I built. Why didn't you know that about me? Because you didn't ask a question. One of these dudes over here said it was AI. That's a real house. I built that house with that wizard. You can build houses like this. You can create stories like this. But guess what? All of you came into this room with a story. How do you walk into a classroom? How do you walk into the auditorium? How do you walk in your home after school? What are you telling and communicating with your parents, with your friends when you walk in? How you show up. How you show up matters because it tells a story. And where your attention goes, your energy flows. Can we all say that? You got to repeat after me. Where your attention goes, say it. Your energy flows. Let's say it one more time. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. So what happens when I come walking over here to the persons that are right next to me and I'm now talking? What does this feel like? Is there a different kind of attention you're paying right now? Because I'm staring at you? Do you see how I can manipulate an entire room? Do you see how much power I have? How do we decide what we pay attention to? We have this brain. It's a tool. I want you all to know that all day long, you've got millions of pieces of information coming into this brain. And you have to decide what to pay attention to. And where does our brain bring in information? The five senses. What are the five senses? Smell, taste, touch, hearing, sight. All day long. All day long. And if we get really quiet, watch what happens. Watch. Everybody, let's try this. Watch. What do we hear? And right now, all day long, if you put your attention right now, I want you to do this with me. Try this with me. Put your attention on your big toe. And right next to it, when you're thinking about your big toe, I want you to feel that your toe next to it is actually touching it. And all day long, this is being communicated to your brain, but you're not paying attention to it. And now, hold up, everybody try this one. This is crazy. You ready to go crazy? This is crazy. If you really put your attention there, watch what happens with your brain. If you go there, you can actually feel the temperature. What's the temperature between those two toes? And can you feel the sock touching the outside of your toe? And guess what? While I was talking about your toe, feeling that the shirt that you're wearing is actually touching your neck. Feel where your shirt is touching your neck. Why are you not paying attention to your big toe right now? And why did I just tell you this? Because the whole time your eyes are open, guess what you can't not see? Your nose. The whole time. So I try not seeing your nose when your eyes are open, and you can't do it. Why don't you ever pay attention to that? Because it's not important.
Yep.
Thank you, Andrew. Because it's not important. Who decides what's important? If I told you right now that today someone was going to walk out of this auditorium with that $100 bill. Now you have to be quiet. Oh, none of you got to work together for this to happen. I need total silence for this to actually work. Why do you all of a sudden pay attention when I hold this up? Because why? It's because your brain has told you this is important. Now this is a piece of paper. If I hold up this piece of paper, does it have any energy? It has no energy. This has energy. What is important to you? Now this might be important to all of you. But everything you choose, whatever is important to you, you can put your attention to. You can create. You can create. Because all day long, your brain has to decide what to pay attention to. And who's in charge of your brain? You. So today is about, what are you paying attention to? Are you paying attention to how you show up? Are you going to actually care for the person to the left and to the right of you? Because that's the only way this team works. That's the only way the Buffalo Bills are going to actually win. So, who are you? What's your story? Very interesting when we think about it. And we're all living in this body. Who here has taken a biology class here in school? So, in biology, this is crazy, because you're all living in this body right now. I want you to feel this because it's a miracle. Everybody follow along. Right now, you all have, and you never think about this story because you never actually tell yourself to pay attention to it, but you've got 100 trillion human cells in the body. Do you know what kind of number that is? 100 trillion. So if you zoom in inside of my arm, you're going to see a human cell. If you zoom in into my eyebrows, you're going to see human cells. Zoom in on my knees, human cells. It's all human cells, 100 trillion of them. That is a crazy amount. And then, if you think about it, anybody's taken chemistry or physics? What's the smallest? Has anybody ever heard of an atom? So an electron, a proton, a neutron. When you look at your body, you're made up of 100 trillion human cells that each one of those 100 trillion have 100 trillion atoms in it. How many atoms do you have in your body? A lot of atoms. And then if you zoom in on an atom, when scientists zoom in on an atom, what do they see? Has anybody ever seen what happens when you zoom in on an atom? It is 99% energy. It looks like a vortex. It's like a tornado of energy. This is what we're made out of. Your body is made out of this crazy non-material thing. 1% of your body is stuff that we can touch. The rest of it is empty. It's energy. How do you direct that energy? Because you're the gas station. You're the fuel charge. You get to decide where that energy goes. And some days you put it in places that you wouldn't be proud of. Today is not that day. When my mentor when he made me realize the story that's happening in my body, I started to go, holy crap. And then he told me this. And we got to put our adult caps on. Can everybody put their adult caps on? Good. How are we made? We are made from our mother and father. And our father was born with 400 billion sperm cells. And those sperm cells, only one of those had half your name on it. And in some miraculous statistical miracle, the other half of your name was on one of your mother's million eggs. Do you know the likelihood that I want you to really feel this. For you to be here right now, the likelihood for you to be here right now, the miracle, is 1 in 400 trillion. Do you know what the likelihood of you being struck by lightning is? 1 in 16,000. You know what the likelihood of you winning the Mega Millions is? 1 in 100 million. You should be rich over being here. So how do we show up here? Because it is an actual miracle. This man's a miracle. What if you saw yourself as a miracle every time you woke up? How would you show up to your day? 2 days ago, my truck flipped in a ditch. I lost control down a slope, and I was driving. I had a 9-year-old daughter and a beautiful wife, and I slid, and everything started to go slow. And I slid, and I hit that ditch, and my truck fishtailed, and I flipped on my side and went boom! And I opened my eyes. This is 2 days ago. I opened my eyes with an airbag pushed up against my face, and I went, oh, I'm alive. It's a miracle. Thank you. This is a miracle. And I want you to feel this miracle because the only reason why you're here is because of all these people that lived before you. And if you go back 2 generations, you got grandparents. 3 generations, you got great-grandparents. But if you go back 15, you got 37,000 people that have lived to make it so that you could sit in this chair right now and you're bored. Do you know what these 37,000 people are probably thinking? Because I tell that story to myself every day. And if you think about those 37,000 people watching you, how do you show up? Because they had to survive a world that was way less comfortable than what you're living in. Way less. 37,000 people wondering what you're going to do. And I'm asking, we're asking, your classmates are asking, how you show up today. Can you be kind? Are these 37,000 people actually going to be proud of you? Or not? I'm going to tell you a story to end it. In 2010, there was an earthquake in Haiti. It devastated everything. It destroyed it, leveled cities. And I'm watching this on the news on my computer, and I'm seeing all these people suffering. That they lost everything. I'm sitting, and I get this gut feeling in my stomach, and I'm like, looking around my room, and I've got everything. And I'm complaining. And in that moment, I said what I said way early on. I said, I want to help you. And I should do something. So I called this volunteer organization. I said, I want to help. They said, cool. I bought a plane ticket. I flew down to Haiti. When I arrived, chaos at the airport because there's desperation. People aren't eating. They've got no access to clean water. They got no shelter. You see that waterway? It is full of trash. So I showed up and I worked. I said, I'm not going to complain. I'm going to give because that's what a good person does. What do I want to be, Matteo? I want to be a good person. All right, this is what you're going to do then. Because it's just a small list of behaviors. You got to make that list. And then you got to actually do it. So I'm there, I'm working, I'm lifting rubble off of foundations so that people can rebuild their houses. I had to set up tents for people because they had nowhere to live. I was setting up tents as I'm removing concrete rubble so that they could avoid the mosquitoes in the middle of the day and actually be in shelter when it's raining. Yeah, it's tents, man. I had everything. And I was working. I was like, you know what? I'm here. I got my body. I'm going to work hard. So one day, my volunteer coordinator came up to me and he said, Matteo, you got to take a break this afternoon. So I took a friend and we went for a walk to the ocean. I'm walking toward the ocean. And I see a gazebo in the distance. And there's like 25 little kids. And there's music playing. And they told us, be alert. Be alert when you're walking out on campus, off campus here. There's a lot of people with desperation. You got to be careful. So I'm walking, and here comes a big Haitian man walking towards me, right? He's walking toward me, and I'm alert. But he walks up and he tells me his story while he's walking toward me. He has his hands open like this, and he gives me a smile about 10 feet away. Hello. I said, what's your name? I said, Matteo. He goes, you're here helping, aren't you? It's 2 white guys, similar volunteers for one person. I'm telling him a story too. He's like, you're here helping. He says, thank you. He doesn't know who I am. He's thanking me like I deserve his thanks. I got everything. He's got nothing. He says, thank you. He starts to invite me in. He goes, hey, why don't you come in? Come be with us today. 25 people. He invites us into the group. He doesn't know me. I don't even speak his language. He's inviting me in. That kind of kindness, it changed me. I walk in, there's music playing, and people are dancing. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm gonna dance with these. There's reggae music playing, and I start dancing. I'm dancing with these guys. Oh, it was good. And all of a sudden, in that moment, I forgot about the destruction. I forgot about that we didn't have the food or the water. I forgot about how hot I was because in June in Haiti it's 100 degrees. And the music helped us get present. And so I got present. And I was dancing, and all of a sudden something changed my life. And it was a tap on the shoulder. And I turned, and this old guy who's been through it, man, he's been through it. He looks me in the eye, and he's holding an ice cold Coca-Cola. The one that I'm holding right there in that picture. I drank it already. Now, there was no electricity in Leogon at that time. To find ice was like a miracle. This guy has nothing, he doesn't have shelter, he doesn't know when his next meal is going to be, and he's handing me the one thing that's the highest value, something cold. And he gives it to me. I don't deserve this gift, but he wanted to give it to me. He wanted to connect with me, man. And I took that Coca-Cola and I drank that Coca-Cola. And that gift changed my entire life. Because if that guy can give me something, this white guy, this tourist, this guy that's just here to help, guy that's got everything, he gave me all he had on that day. And I danced and I meant it. And the next week when I was working, I worked harder than I'd ever worked. Because he gave when he had nothing. And what are you going to do today? What are you going to do this week? What are you going to do at Christmas time? What are you going to do next year? How do you show up? Because the gift, the secret to living is actually giving. And you think it's about answers because you've been tricked. But everything I've ever seen always brings me back to this, is that it's actually giving. So today, what are you going to do? What are you going to do tomorrow? How are you going to show up? How am I going to show up as a dad? How am I going to show up as a teacher? How am I going to show up as a friend? We got to ask ourselves that question, then make that list, and then do it, because it's all about what? It's all about practice. It's about practice. Thank you guys. Give a little. Thank you.